Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm representing Group 2A from Laboratory 6 Metallurgy for Material Science. We'd like to present our objective, that is different effect of different electrolyte. And I'm gonna start for the introduction. Electroplating, also known as electromechanical deposition or electrodeposition, is a process for producing a metal coating on a solid substrate through the reduction of cation of the metal by means of a direct electric current. In this experiment, we are tasked to do an experiment regarding electroplating process. Our objective in this experiment are to test the effect of different electrolytes. We are using easy-to-get materials of the electrolyte such as salt water, vinegar, and soda bicarbonate as a medium of this experiment solution. All these three types of solution are categorized as a good ion, strong electrolyte, and also reacted positively to the copper and metal, and also a good acidic for this solution. A substance that produces ions in solution when dissolved in water and conduct electricity are called electrolyte. In addition, when an ionic compound dissolved in water, the positive and negative ions originally presented in the crystal lattice persist in solution. The ability to move nearly independently through the solution permits them to carry positive and negative electric charges from one place to another. Hence, the solution conducts an electric current.
Experimental theory. Electroplating is the method for depositing one metal over another in the presence of a metal salt in aqueous solution. The water molecule is released as the final product in this process. As a consequence, electroplating is based on the theory of hydrolysis. Electroplating system usually consists an anode positively charged electrode, which is the source of the material to be deposited. The electrochemistry, which is the medium through which metal ions are exchanged and transferred to the substrate to be coated, and a cathode, which is the substrate, the negatively charged electrode to be coated. The beaker is filled with electrolyte, which has the metal to be plated in ionic form. The anode is connected to the positive terminal of the power supply. The anode is usually the metal to be plated. As the current is applied, positive terminal ions from the solution are attracted to the negatively charged cathode and deposit on the cathode. As replenishment for these deposited ions, the metal from the anode is dissolved and goes into the solution. Electroplating is based on Faraday's two laws physical law. These laws are stated: first, the weight of a substance formed at an electrode is proportionally to the amount of current passed through the cell. Second, the weight of different substances produced at an electrode by the same amount of current are proportional to their equivalent weight. Now we go to 7.2 experimental equipment. A. 250 ml of beaker. B. 9 volt battery. C. Electronic balance. D. Salt solution, vinegar, baking soda solution in electrolyte. E. 3 piece of iron plate, 3 piece of copper plate. F. Sandpaper. G. Stopwatch. Point 3 is experimental procedure. Students must follow the safety procedure during the experimental work. Students are required to wear a laboratory coat, glove, and safety mask because the experiment involves chemical solutions. Firstly, all the materials and apparatus was prepared completely. Secondly, the iron plate was grinded by using sandpaper. This is to remove the outside layer of iron plate. Thirdly, the apparatus for electroplating process was set up. Fourthly, the electrolyte solution was poured into a beaker. Fifth, the iron plate was weighed, initial weight WO, by using electronic balance, and the reading was recorded. Next, the copper plate was clipped at positive terminal and the iron plate at negative terminal. Then, the both plates was placed parallel in the electrolyte. After that, the iron plate from the beaker was removed and be rinsed it with deionized water. Second last, the iron plate final weight WF was weighed after the electroplating process and the reading was recorded. Next, steps 1 to 9 was repeated by using other electrolyte and run the electroplating process for 30 minutes. Lastly, the observation and reading was recorded in lab report.
So let me tell the result that we obtained from the experiment. First, the mass of iron plate before immersed in salt water, vinegar, and baking soda electrolyte are 11.34, 8.66, and 8.50 grams respectively. Next, the mass of iron plate after immersed in salt water, vinegar, and baking soda electrolyte are 11.36, 8.67, and 8.51 grams respectively. So after we obtain the value of the mass of iron plate before immersed in electrolyte and the mass of iron plate after immersed in electrolyte, we calculate that the change in mass of iron plate in each of the electrolysis are 0.2 gram, 0.1 gram, and 0.1 gram respectively. The duration of electroplating process in all the experiments are 30 minutes and the current flow through the electrolyte in all the experiments are 2.5 milliamps per second. The Faraday second law states that the weight of different substances produced at an electrode by the same amount of current are proportional to their equivalent weights. So the number of Faraday is the product of ampere and time divided by the product of Faraday constant and the number of mole of the material deposited on an electrode. For the saltwater electrolyte, the change in mass of the iron plate is 0.02 gram, which means the copper deposit is 0.02 gram. Through the calculation, we find out that the mole of copper deposit is 3.1498 times the 10th of power of negative 4, which means the Faraday in that electrolysis are 0.14808 Faraday. For vinegar electrolysis, the change in mass of the iron plate is 0.01 gram, which means the copper deposit is 0.01 gram, which means the mole of copper deposit is 1.5758 times the 10th to the power of negative 4, which means the number of Faraday in the electrolysis is 0.07404 Faraday. And now for the baking soda electrolysis. The change in mass of the iron plate in the electrolysis is 0.01 gram, which means the copper deposit in the electrolysis is 0.01 gram, which means the mole of copper deposit is 1.5758 times the 10th to the power of negative 4, which is we find out that the Faraday of the electrolysis is 0.07404 Faraday. And that is the result and calculation that we obtain and calculate from our experiment.
So this is the observation part for our electroplating experiment. In this experiment, we have used three types of electrolytes, which are salt water, vinegar, and baking soda. And all three types of electrolyte are successfully undergo electroplating process. And also, all iron plates are successfully coated with a layer of copper, but each of them have different kind of effect. So firstly, by using salt water as electrolyte, a yellow color copper layer is coated on the iron plate, but it is not obvious to see, and it also have a rough surface on it, on the coated layer. So secondly, by using vinegar as electrolyte, a reddish brown color copper layer is plated on the iron plate, and this layer of copper can be easily scrubbed off or drop off. It is unstable. And lastly, by using baking soda as the electrolyte in the electroplating process, a shiny copper layer is coated on the iron plate and is perfectly coated on it and cannot be easily scrubbed off. And these are the iron plates, result of the iron plates with respectively of the electrolytes. And the result of these iron plates are described as the previous slide. So that's all for the observation part.
So, in conclusion, the objective of this experiment has been achieved, which to include understanding the process of electroplating, stimulating the process of electroplating, and differentiating coating properties based on two defined electroplating process characteristics. By using Faraday's law, allowing electricity to flow into the substance and completing the cycle to flowing through the electrolytes will change the polarity of material, hence changing its state. A layer of desired metal can be formed into the metal by completing the process at the end. We also conclude the electroplating is heavily dependent on electrochemical process. The result of each sample also proved that the electroplating process was successful, as seen by the coating that was present after the experiment. Through this experiment, we also be able to see the interaction of two metals with different electrolytes, as well as the coating characteristic. And we also have a problem facing throughout this experiment to get accurate result. It is because first source of error within this lab is human error. Human error was present in multiple measurements. For example, each trial did not last the exact same amount of time due to human inability to start and stop the stopwatch at the exact same time during each reaction.